Welcome. This is Rozani, and this is Copier Paper Pulp, made from bleed-resistant paper, used with printers, and available in most office supply shops and department stores. The pulp is created through a simple process, beginning with soaking it in water. It softens really nicely. Here's what I did next. I put it in these little lids and I strained them and just let them dry in front of a window during the day, and then left them overnight. And if the weather turned bad or too damp, I just put them in front of a fan to finish drying. You could see where I mixed two colors of pulp, and it's thin. I really love making these. I like to package them into little kits to use for different types of projects. And they can be used for so many things. I just love paper. And when I realized I could use the colored paper, which, by the way, they're 8.5 by 11 sheets, it doesn't take that much to make the thin ones. However, a full sheet will make a bigger one or add even more thickness, depending on the mold that you're using. They'll come out most of the time. These lids have ridges in them, and this little piece was stuck in there. But it's just pulp. It can crumble, and I could just put it back together, no problem at all. Because it has nothing but water added to the pulp. These are not the only types of lids that I use. I have some that are more flexible. And sometimes I put them in little plastic cups. Now, I could just dampen it on the back and it'll hold together. But I'm going to do something else with it, so stay tuned so you don't miss what I do. Now, here's another one. Oh, this is thick also. It's a little stuck again. But that's okay. I'm going to try to get it out. Getting under there. It's a little rough. And you might be wondering, why don't I use some kind of lubricant under it? It's because a release agent isn't always necessary. These are experiments. I don't want any lubricant touching the paper. In other words, if I put oil or Vaseline or something like that, it's going to absorb into the paper, and I don't want that. Because if someone were to make a project out of it, it may not work as well, and some people like to paint on it or draw on it. There we go. So let's see, what can we do with these? Let's just put them back in here and reconstitute them. All you got to do is add water. That's it. So just wet them and set them aside. And there we are. Look at that. See, I can drain the water out and just use it for another project. So I'll just leave those for now, and let me show you how I started. I used this process to store and soften the paper for my little projects. Allow the paper to soak overnight or as long as possible. Once it's softened, then it could be stirred into the pulp. You could transfer it to a cup or a jar, it doesn't matter. The longer that you let it soak, the softer it will become. Now that you've seen how I create my pulp for papier mâché projects, I hope you'll give it a try. If you're new to this channel or would just like to learn more, please visit my playlists where there's similar content and so many different topics. Meanwhile, keep on creating, and thanks so much for being here. Bye for now, and I hope to see you next time.